Hello, good evening, and welcome to the Talkin Kop. I'm Gav. This is Chris, and this is your preview for Liverpool against Southampton in the Carabao Cup tomorrow night at Anfield. Um, Look, I'm not going to lie. I haven't looked at Southampton this season. I don't know what they're up to. Were they in the Premier League last year? Yeah, they were. They were appalling. Wasn't that
Yeah,
wasn't that last season?
yeah, that spoofer is now at Rangers.
Oh yeah, he's having a great time at Rangers. He's having a lovely time. The vegan fella, isn't he? Yeah, that's him.
The vegan fella, yeah, they don't like him for
Yeah,
being vegan either.
Salah came fourth in the Ballon d'Or. Yeah, well there you go. If
Apparently
you're
so.
watching the Ballon d'Or, like Jesus. But I don't even think Salah turned up to it tonight. I think he went to gym instead, judging by some posts on social media. But anyway, um, Chris, I suppose we're around to that time of year again where it's the League Cup and people go, "Oh, do you know what? Play the kids." Some people want to play the kids. Some people want to go strong. Some people want to go somewhere in the middle. It all depends what you want out of the competition. And Liverpool have an unbelievable record in the competition. I think they are record winners of the competition.
Yep.
And, they were in the final last year, they won it the year before. And, you know, whatever way we kind of go around this, we're quite good at it. I don't see any difference this year because the squad, I think, is stronger. I think there's more genuine force team players at Slot's disposal, possibly for tomorrow night, than he would have last season. He would have looked upon a lot of players last season and went, yeah, put him in. Um, he, he he said he's going to leave a load of players out that have played the 5 league games, but still is an awful lot of players that be looking for time. I don't see this being a load of kids here tomorrow night.
No, I don't think so. That he named five players who have played 19 and said they won't feature, which
Yeah,
was Allison, Virgil, Canarsie, Grafenberg, and Soboslai.
yeah,
But I'll be honest, I didn't expect any of them to be anywhere near the squad.
yeah,
And Salah as well, sorry. I didn't expect any of them to be anywhere near the squad anyway because of rotation. But I think the last show we did, I think I said in the show, I reckon you could do 11 changes and you still look at the squad going, that's pretty strong. That's pretty strong 11.
yeah. And that kind of that nearly dictates what you want in this competition because if you go with whatever we come up with a lineup later, if you go with that, you'd say to yourself, yeah, that's a good chance against most teams going through this competition because there will be Premier League teams have fallen already, but there'll be others that'll fall because they'll go really weak. They'll go really
Mm.
weak. They might look and go, we don't need this. We're trying to chase the Champions League spot. We don't need this. We're fucking fighting relegation, whatever it might be. Um, Liverpool, without, you know, they ring the changes, but even at ringing the change, you kind of go, that's fucking strong. So that nearly dictates what we want in this competition, which is possibly to go far in it.
Yeah. The only time the league becomes a bit of a juggling act is if you get like a rival. So if you got like City,
Yeah,
like we did a couple of years ago, that's where you're a bit more like, well, how weak do you go then, and how weak will they go? And that's where it's a bit more of a you don't want to give
bit of
give
a
an
mind
inch to
game.
like yeah, you don't give an inch to a rival. You want to make it quite close. Whereas I think if you get anything below a Premier League side, you will rotate. But the depth I think Liverpool are going to go for is going to be decent. I think I think the bench might look a little bit light, so I kind of feel like the 11 that start is probably the 11 that has to try and win it.
Yeah,
I think it will be a young bench, but as we've seen, sometimes having these young benches, that's where Naomi got his starts, and that's where the likes of James McConnell, who's now on loan at Ajax, so they got their moments, doesn't it? Clark, the other lad who he's now at Derby, but that's where they got their moments, and sometimes that's the best way of doing it.
yeah. Just on Southampton, you know, like I said, I haven't seen any of them this season. They were desperate in the Premier League last season, and they've lost a couple of players. Dibbling has gone to Everton. They've lost a couple on top of that. But you were saying to us
Fernandez.
before you were saying before they come on is a one win, three draws, and
Well,
two defeats.
yeah, the only win they got in the league was I actually saw that game, which was Wrexham opening game of the season. They
Oh
scored
yes,
too
they
late.
scored two late
Too
goals. Yeah,
late. Yeah. Other than that, I think the only win they've got was in the previous round. I think when they beat, I think they beat Norwich 3-0 in the previous round.
yeah,
But that's in terms of league form, that's their only win.
yeah,
So, but they've got a new manager, and I think he's a bit more. I think he likes to play footy and play likes football because he did that in France. But I think he's also got a bit of pragmatism about him.
yeah,
But it does look like it's taken a while for his style to click in.
yeah.
How strong Southampton will go out, I couldn't couldn't tell you.
Yeah.
Because that's what it's hard to judge with championship sides. Do we see this as chance of getting a win, chance of, giant killing and all that? Or do we just go, we could do without this, we're 19th in the league, we're going to play our kids, and do you know what, if we get beat, we get beat, I don't care.
Yeah. O'Shane says there, Southampton are struggling in the championship playing possession-based football, but are not getting the results. And it is a tightrope for, it's for Southampton, because they're not doing great in the league, but they could look at it and go, you know what, this could really boost their season. This could get us up and running if we went to Anfield and played Liverpool's, what they would perceive as Liverpool's second string, and get a win. That's huge for us, the confidence and stuff. But then, they go strong and they go and get beaten by Liverpool's second string in inverted commas, and you're kind of going, fuck, we're 19th in the championship, and we've been, taught a lesson at Anfield by players that won't automatically start for Liverpool. So it's a bit of a weird one for Southampton. If I was to put a bet on it, I think Southampton come out and they probably play 5 or 6 first teamers, and then they throw another few at that, because I think that the negativity probably outweighs the positivity here.
Possibly, yeah.
We've seen loads of teams. We've seen loads of teams do this, where you come along and you go, they're in the championship, and next one you're going, that's not the lads they play every week, and they're like, lads, we're gonna get beaten here anyway. So why don't we put a load of young fellas out, and we're fit for the weekend, we're raring to go for the weekend, but they need a boost somewhere. I just don't know if they get it here tomorrow. Emmett said he's the ginger lad that didn't have a licence, and his club in France were fined every game he managed. Oh yeah, I remember him. Don't remember his name, but I remember him. Is it something still? Is it something like, I want to say Mick Still, but it's not Mick Still. It's something Still, I think is his name. Somebody in the chat is going to help me out here in a minute. But I do remember him. And he's quite highly rated in France as well. But he's obviously in there. Look, Will Still, okay. Will Still, that's worse than Mick Still. But it's maybe.
Sounds like a lawyer firm, doesn't it?
Yeah, when it comes down to it, would you be concerned if Southampton brought out their full team against this Liverpool team tomorrow? Judging by the form they have this season, you kind of go, no.
No, I suppose for the couple of the lads who I think will start, that'll be a bit of a physicality test for them, which, to be honest, is probably not a bad thing. Gets them to used to English football, the rough and tumble of it. So, but no, I think it'd be a good challenge. I'm actually looking forward to it, because there's a few players I'm looking forward to seeing. Let's see what they're about. Like the goalie, the centre back. Seeing a bit more of Rio and Gamoa. Those sort of things. I'm looking forward to seeing them. Naoni, I think, will play. And I'm looking forward to. Whenever I've seen him playing cup games, I always think, oh, he looks quite good. I still think it's mad. Like in pre-season, they just stuck him centre half.
Yeah.
It's just
went.
And he did well. Like he did well. Like being going, I wouldn't have put him there.
Yeah. Davey T, our resident Newcastle fan, says, evening Copites, not a cat in hell's chance Southampton play a strong team. Even if they were playing a championship team, they wouldn't. I'm with you. I think you'll see a few fringe players for Southampton that they just go, listen, we're up against it. Liverpool's team that they're going to put out will still be quite strong. We don't need our first team going out here for injuries or getting beaten badly and stuff like that. John says, hi guys, what do you want to win more, the FA Cup or the League Cup?
I like the League Cup because it gets it out the way.
I like the League Cup too, because you get that kind of cup final in mid-February and the start of March. The only thing that turns me off the FA Cup is they've made an absolute hames of it, and we do this every season when it comes to this time of year. Someone asked that question. No offense, John, but people ask that question, and it's good to win anything. You know what I mean? You win an FA Cup, it's great. It's a great day out. Liverpool love Wembley. We always bring a brilliant support there. It's always good games, etc. But it's just a disaster of a competition, the FA Cup. Honestly, they should literally just go back to the early 90s, right? And sit down and watch the coverage of the FA Cup in the mid-90s. And what I include in that is the times when teams kicked off, the games they showed over the weekend, match of the day, right? And then look at that, and then look at the final and how it was covered, and literally do that. Because we look at films that are rehashed and series that are brought back, and sure, they brought back Bullseye. Bullseye was fucking perfection, but they brought it back, right? And they were like, oh, we do this catchphrase. They brought that back. They bring all these shows back because they go, it was deadly, wasn't it? Let's try it now. They should literally do that with the FA Cup and go, that was amazing in the early 90s. Amazing in the early 90s. And go back into the 80s. But I always remember from the late 80s, early 90s. Like, it was really like the joint killings and everything else. It was perfect. But the problem with it is now, they want too many games on TV. They spread rounds across a whole week, right? No replays. So teams are going,
Thursday, doesn't it?
Yeah,
It's like Thursday to Tuesday.
Yeah, it's like they've got to draw at home to fucking Manchester United or Liverpool, and they get to go to Anfield now, and they get half the gate receipts, and there's no replays anymore. There's it's all so many on television. They literally need to go back to the 90s and look at it. Like, I always remember one of my, not even a Liverpool memory, I remember Woking beating West Brom in the early 90s. Tim Bazaglu scored a hat-trick for Woking, right? I'll never forget it. At the Hawthorns, I think they won 3-2 or something like that. And it was like, whoa, couldn't wait to see this on Match of the Day that night. But now everything's at the, it's at your fingertips.
I still love the Wickham one where the striker that puts them through. They got
Essendon.
They got off
Roy
teletext.
Essendon. Yeah,
that's one that at that age is you as well.
Don't they knock Leicester out?
Because they play Liverpool in the semi-final.
They play Liverpool in the semis. They win at Filbert Street.
But it's just so funny. So the winning guys that they got him yesterday off CFAX. You go,
what's going on here? Roy Essendon, I think, was his name. I'm sure someone else will walk there, but I'm nearly sure it was him. But sorry, John, I know you asked. I take either of them. But the way football's gone is now, I think they're very distant, third and fourth. In the priority list, they're very, very distant, third and fourth now. I think the League Cup midweek game on, fucking straight to penalties, no pricking around. Like, I remember the League Cup years ago, and it was 2 legs. Yeah, they played 2 legs in the League Cup in the third. I still don't like
the 2-legged semi-final. I'm still not a big fan of that in the League Cup. I think that's a bit shite.
Yeah, but you see, the thing is, like, but then you look at the FA Cup and the semi-finals are at Wembley, which is a nonsense.
Yeah.
The best thing about the actual one of the best things about the FA Cup was the semi-finals in the neutral grounds, Villa Park, Hillsborough, Old Trafford. And it was great. Like, we played our semi-final in '92. We play Portsmouth at Highbury, and then we played a replay in Goodison, or not Goodison, in Villa Park. We obviously there's the tragedy of 89 at Hillsborough, but the year before we played a semi-final at Hillsborough in 88. 96 we play at Old Trafford and we beat Villa there. Fowler of the green and white, unbelievable.
I'm laughing at Aid, and he just put, "What do you mean they got him off teletext?" That's just proper Age does that, hasn't it, Gav?
Wow. Aiden says, "What do you mean?" Oh, so Aiden mightn't know what teletext was.
This is pre-internet days, though.
Yeah, teletext was when you went onto your TV and you could press this button and it came up black screen, and you could press numbers. So on BBC you could press the teletext on BBC.
300 for sport,
302 for football, and then you could get the results and stuff like that. But it was just a much purer time, Aidan, a much purer time. But I hope, John, that's answered your question. For me, if I was to pick between one of them, the League Cup, because I just think the format is way more enjoyable. Although when you get to an FA Cup semi-final and final, it's brilliant. But I'd still look at it and go, just put them in neutral venues, lads. You have enough big stadiums. It's not like you don't have them. Stick one in the Emirates and stick one in fucking Spurs' ground. Stick one up in Newcastle. Stick one at Anfield. Stick one in Everton's new ground. Stick one at Old Trafford. They all have them. They all have big stadiums. But yeah, it's the FA Cup is just a disaster. It really is. From start to finish, it's a disaster. But it's still a big cup. But if I was to pick one, I just love Liverpool in the League Cup. I don't know what it is. I just really do. There's an app in the App Store where you can get the football news in teletext format. It's whopper, says Emma. Tell us what it's called, Emma. Put it in the chat, and people might do.
Yeah.
Might
Half a,
actually.
half a, half a story, I mean,
Yeah. I don't know what it's called. But yeah,
think it's
Emma.
just called think it's just called teletext.
It might be. Teletext was wanks as Scouts of P. CFAX was the only game in town. CFAX was BBC's version, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah, and Teletext was ITV, UTV, whatever you call it. You call it
They both
ITV.
they both look the same anyway, don't they?
Yeah. Telescore is the
Peaches,
name of the app.
I think
Um,
Peaches being contrary because that's his way.
yeah. Chris says, wasn't it 318 for the gossip page? Ooh, I'm not. Was it 318 for the gossip page, Chris? I don't think you're far
My
off wrong. Um,
my, I also do you remember the
302 was the football on CFAX, not 301, Davey. I'm nearly sure it was 302 for the football. I could be wrong, but 302 was in my head.
Telescore. It's called Gav.
Telescore,
Found it.
yeah.
Telescore.
Just
Yeah.
put it in there, yeah. Telescore.
Do you know, to be fair, it is class actually. That
Yeah,
fucking
well,
brings
there you
back
go.
memories.
Download Telescore, get all your football stuff. Aiden, your mind will be blown. And Aiden, if you do download Telescore, remember that's how we got all our football news. You went on
Yeah.
to you didn't have your
Yeah.
Sky
Holidays.
boxes. You had literally your TV with a pipe plugged into it, and you got your channels. And BBC, you press the teletext button, and all your news come up. And then the best thing about it, I don't know how we're fucking doing this right. We're meant to be talking about Southampton, but fuck it, right? There was things where you could buy holidays on it.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
the thing was,
My
you
granddad
couldn't
used to do that.
you couldn't pause the page, right? And Davey T saying the exact same thing. Remember looking at holidays, right? You couldn't pause the page, so it'd come up and it'd go holidays, page 1 of 18, and it might say Santa Ponza, 7 nights, boom, 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 ring this number. And what happened is you'd be kind of going, oh. And you go to get a pen and paper because that's all you had. And when you went to get the pen and paper, it switched to page 2 and it was like, Greece. So you'd have to wait for it to go through the 18 pages and then come back to page 1 so you could get your phone number. It was absolutely unbelievable.
Do you remember? Do you remember Channel 4 when they had the quiz on it, Bamboozle?
Yes. Yeah, I remember
I used to love
Bamboozle.
doing that. And you get one wrong,
Aiden's
you have to go back to the beginning.
Aiden says, Gav, do you remember Sports Tonight on TV3 with Trevor Welch hoping for a clip of a goal on a Wednesday night at 11:30? Yes, I always remember, and people used to deny this, but on a Monday night at 9:30 on RTE, which is Ireland's national television broadcaster, they used to do the highlights of Italian football, right? So on Saturday you used to get Gazzetta dello Sport, or whatever it was called, the Channel 4 show with Richardson on it, showing the Italian football. He used to sit there drinking coffee and reading the papers, the Corriere dello Sport, and there was the pink paper and all this. And then on a Monday night, we used to have it in Ireland where the highlights of the Italian football. And it was outrageous. It was so good. You watch it every week, and you didn't know the fucking scores. You just went on to see the football. It was brilliant. But I take me back to that time. Gav, I'll see your teletext and rise you club call. It was extortionate. Yeah, club call was where it'll come up and go, Liverpool on the verge of massive striker move. And then you'd pay like £3 a minute to listen to this. And you'd be on it for about 5 minutes. And then at the end, they go, yeah, Liverpool might look to sign Stan Collymore. And then that'd be the end of it. And you'd be 15 quid down. Yeah, you knew your man was going to bat you. And that'd be the end of that.
The original ITKs, though.
Yeah, that's it. That's how we got to Ibiza. We flew back into Leeds, Bradford, for fuck's sake. Says Red Steve. It was so good. Teletext. Jeez, we could talk all night on it. Anyway, back to this. Look, whatever happens, Liverpool will look to get out of this competition what they want to get out of it. But we always look at it as a sounding board, don't we, for the likes of your Engamoas, your Leones, players coming back into fitness, players that are playing a bit part, your Endos, you know what I mean, even Curtis Jones. It's always a way to get them football and have them ready then for the next block of games before the next League Cup game comes. And that's really what we're looking for, Chris, aren't we? Result aside, and we get to lineups in a minute, but that's what we're looking for. We're looking for our players that have played a lot to get a rest, but we're also looking for our players that haven't got as much football to go in and make a claim to be in this Liverpool team, because there's plenty of them there, I think, that can, rightly make a claim to get into this, if not team, definitely squad, matchday squad, and Palace away.
Yeah, I think for some players you just want to see a glimpse going, are they really an option? Or, in terms of like Mamadashvili, he's the heir to the Allison throne. So yes, you would quite like to see what he's about. And then just some just exciting youngsters. That's one thing I like about early rounds of the League Cup, but even the rounds of the FA Cup, is you normally get to see some of your prospects and see how close they are and see if what they can give to you. So I'm looking forward to seeing Rio from the start. We know he's a great sub, but I'd love to see if he's a viable start option, because I think that's my mild concern with Chiesa and Rio. Is I think the great options off the bench, Slot has never shown an interest in starting them, especially Chiesa.
Yeah.
And I think that's where you sort of worry. Whereas last year, whoever our fifth choice striker was, attacker, which was probably Darwin, you still throw him in. You weren't like, fucking hell, why are you starting him? You just go, oh, okay, Darwin's starting. Whereas I still feel at the moment, if you start Chiesa or Rio, it feels a bit of a risk. But that might allay your fears if you see him play a few more times and go, oh, okay, yeah, no, they actually are real options. These.
Yeah, it's it. I know where you're coming from. I think we may end up at some stage looking at having to start a Rio Engamoa or having to start a Chiesa, because Salah's away at the AFCON. Gakpo might be out of form. Gakpo could be injured. Another player, and this is what your squad is all about. And I get your concern because we haven't seen an awful lot of Chiesa or Engamoa from the start. I don't think Engamoa has started a league game for Liverpool, but this is where they have to show it, and this is where they have to. Not they don't have to allay. They don't have to allay air fears. We're none of their business, to be fair. But this is where you. I'm not saying Rio Engamoa plays tomorrow. He has a stormer and he has to play in the first team. He has to start. What I'm saying is, when you look at it, and if Rio Engamoa has a really good game, or anybody else for that matter, if they have a really good game, then you kind of go, do you know what? He could start. If we need him to, he could start. But Jesus, he's still looking sharp if we need him to come on against Palace, or we need him to come on against United a couple of weeks down the road, whatever it might be. That's where they need to be. Do you know what I mean? The worst thing that can happen for these players is they come out tomorrow night, they go to play and they're awful. And then you go, fucking hell. Jesus, if this fella has to play. But in fairness, I don't think there's many in that category. There's some intriguing ones. There's some intriguing ones, which we get to when we're doing our lineups. But I don't think there's many in that category where you go, Jesus, he's going to be fucking... Because we've seen enough from enough players.
Bit of breaking news. Aston Villa's sporting director, Monchi, remember him, the lad from Seville and all that, is set to leave the club.
Well,
I mean, to be fair, I'm not surprised, because as much as Villa moan and groan, their transfer business in the last couple has been pretty disastrous.
I watched them against Sunderland yesterday, and I think they're horrendous. They look to me like an injury or two when they're in serious bother. I genuinely believe that. But there you go. Yeah, look, it's there's loads of lineups being thrown in here. I'm interested to see if either of ours match up with
They're all very similar, to be fair.
They all are fairly similar, but I've seen them coming in. And I'm trying not to read them, so I can give mine and see where I end up. Brian O'Halloran says there's huge turmoil at Villa. Emery won't be far behind them, says Aidan. Now listen, I don't ever claim to know anything, to be fair, but I did say at the start of the season when people asked me, I said, watch Villa. For me, watch Villa, because I think they've hit a peak, and I think they've hit a peak, they've overachieved, and I think the financial thing at them at the moment, and the fact of the business they were having, I think they're on a downward curve, and I think there's a couple of players might look and go, I'm out. Good luck, I'm out. And I bit of bother. Maybe they turn it around, but they didn't look great at the weekend. Ashley says Harvey should have stayed here. He was actually quite good when he came on the other day. They were trying to get the ball to him constantly. In fairness to him, they trusted him. Villa fans are still crying about PSR. Well, PSR is there to protect you against, we know what it's about. We're not getting into that anymore. Anyway, let's do lineups and predictions. Because we
Okay.
don't know anything about Southampton. We're not going to come on here pretend we do. We know their form. We know what they were like last year. We know their manager's called Will Still, which is phenomenal. And then that's about it. We don't know who they're going to put on the team sheet. There might be other channels out there that'll pretend that they do, but fair play to them. Off they go. We don't. Liverpool's 11. Go on, you can name your full 11 and then I'll go on mine.
Okay. Mama Dashvili in goal.
Mm-hmm.
Frimpong, Leone, Gomez, Robbo.
Mm-hmm.
Endo, Jones, Trainoni.
Mm-hmm.
And Chiesa, Rio, Isaac.
Okay. Right. I wouldn't be far off that, I don't think. Maradashvili in goal. Yeah, I think Frimpong, Robertson, Leone, Gomez. I'm good with that. I'm tempted to put McAllister in there. I'm not gonna lie.
Just to get his fitness up.
And I don't know whether it's a fitness thing. I think maybe just rusty. I think Endo does play.
I think so.
I think Jones plays.
I think he needs minutes after his injury.
I'm gonna throw one at you. I think it's
Wirtz.
Yeah.
Yeah. I did think about Wirtz. I think when I gave my team ready, I didn't have Wirtz in it. But I must admit, I thought Wirtz was going to start the derby on the left wing.
Mm-hmm.
So the fact he didn't makes him more of an option for, if not starting, to be in the squad.
Uh-huh. I think he starts Wirtz.
Yeah, I just think they really like Naoni, and I think this is the game they like to throw.
And listen, there's 5 subs.
That's true.
There's 5 subs. I wouldn't mind seeing Wirtz for an hour.
Yeah.
I think Isaac starts up front. I think he has to. Engamo off the left hand side, and Chiesa off the right hand side. And for me, I'd be looking at certain players on the bench. I'd like to see some certain players on the bench. I'd like to see Ekatiki on the bench. I'd like to see a Gakpo on the bench.
I'd like to see Dan's on the bench.
Yeah, I wouldn't mind if Dan's been on the bench. Midfield wise, I think you might see a McAllister. I think you might see a McAllister and Leone. And I think centre half wise, you probably end up. I think Reece Williams is training with the first team. He might end up in there, and I think
Woodman will probably be the goalie, won't he?
Yeah, and I think a Kirkes or a Bradley, on there as well. I just want I wouldn't mind. I don't mind. I think my team's the same as yours, except Wirtz for Leone. I think that's where it is. Dan J says 6-2 Liverpool. Isaac with 2, Chiesa, Frimpong, Jones, and Dance. The score. We're doing this now. Okay. Go on, give us a prediction. You have to name the scorers. That's the rule.
3-0. Isaac, Chiesa, and Dan's off the bench.
Okay. 4-1.
Nice.
Leone's going to score one.
I mean, he is 7 foot, so
Leone's going to score one. I'm telling you now.
It won't be from a corner. It should be heading out his own half.
You just fucking do whatever. He could dribble around forward and stick her in the top corner. I don't care. Leone, Wirtz, Isaac, Chiesa. They're my 4.
I mean, I do prefer your scorers because they're probably all players you think could do the goal.
Yeah.
Well, Neil couldn't do the goal. It'd just be nice to see him score his debut.
Yeah. Sam has 3-0. Leone, Gomez, Isaac. Nice. John says 3-0. Isaac with 2 and Rio. 4-1 for me. Says I would refuses to name the players. Fair enough. Then he comes back and says Rio with 2 and Chiesa, which is only 3. And he said 4-1, so I don't know what's going on there. Enda will cover centre half if needed. Kanate or VVD won't feature, says Aidan. Correct. If Gomez scores, we will have a parade. I'm 100% behind that. Hotline says I think Isaac plays.
We'll have a whole show in it if he scores.
Yeah. I think Isaac plays on form. Surely Ekatike starts at Palace, can't drop the guy. Well, you don't know. Carl Bernard says Rio is definitely scoring. Joe Gomez gets a brace, says Thor. Jesus. Emmett says 5-1. Isaac by 2. Rio, Frimpong and Verts. 5-0, says Adam. Isaac, hat-trick, Rio and Chiesa. Robbo to score as well, says Avo. He's just giving us fucking his prediction in installments here, for fuck's sake. So a lot of people are very, very confident over that. But look, it is what it is. You know, if you win, you win. You know, you kind of take it for granted a little bit, and I know that sounds a bit of a prick thing to say, but it is what it is. You're at Anfield, you know. You look at that lineup. Like when you go through the lineup, you're like, Jesus Christ, like, you know what I mean? They're all top quality players. There's a couple of wild cards in there, but Rio Engamo has already shown his quality. Leone's probably the real wild card where you go, oh, can't wait to see him. But yeah,
Well,
it's
of both our lineups, you look at 9 internationals there.
yeah. Well, there you go. So, and I think it's just, for me, it's the perfect kind of little breather before we get into another load of games. And then, of course, an international break and stuff like that. But
Yeah, because the next 3 are 3 tough aways, aren't they?
yeah,
Palace
I think
away,
5 of Liverpool's next 7 is away.
Yeah, it's like Palace away, Galatasaray, Chelsea away.
Yeah.
And then after the international break, it's United at home. And I think it's another way again then. So it's
I think 5 of our next 7 is away. So there you go. Corn says Curtis Jones Worley tomorrow. I'll take that. I like seeing Curtis Jones do well as well.
He's done well as he's come off this year. When he's come off as a sub, actually. He's done well in both games.
But again, he needs more game time.
Yes.
He needs to be a live option to come on and constantly come on and influence games. And you can only be a live option if you're playing football. Do you know what I mean? Sometimes you come on, you're just a stopgap, and I don't want Curtis Jones to be that. If he's in the squad, when you look at the midfielders we have, and Curtis Jones is in that pocket of midfielders, he needs to be one that when he looks and says, right, Gravenberch, Szoboszlai, McAllister, Verts, and then it's me. You know what I mean? And I need to start some games, I need to play some games. So I'd really like Curtis Jones to have a good game now. Now that Corn has said that. David T says hopefully only marks Adam Armstrong at a corner. That's the little guy, isn't it? That plays for thing. Fair play. Yeah, look, it's, you know, if we were playing Man City tomorrow, we'd probably go way a lot deeper into this and the psychology and all. But Liverpool are going to play Southampton tomorrow. We're going to play a load of players that haven't got 5 league games in a row under their belts, haven't got any league games under their belts in some cases, and they need to play. And I love when this comes around and Endo gets on the pitch and he's just like a fucking madman. And I'd love to see Joe Gomez really, you know, boss that centre back position and talk Leone through the game, and so Leone can play with a freedom. I'd love to see that. And then up to the end of the pitch, you want to see goals from certain players for different reasons.
It's good for Leone though, having Robbo and Gomez either side of him. That's a lot of experience to help him out, really.
Yeah,
to be fair,
and Endo's going to stand in front there as well and do a bit of the business for him as well. So yeah, it's perfectly set up for Liverpool to pick exactly what they want and get exactly what they want out of the game. In the sense of the result, who's going to play and how many minutes they're going to get, and you know, fitness, and you know, the big one of them all is Isaac, isn't it? Let's be fair. If you get him on, you get him another hour out of him, you're kind of going, right, he's getting there, because you know, I wouldn't have expected to see anything from Isaac for the first 5 or 6 games he plays for Liverpool, because he just hasn't kicked the football in anger really for 3 months, you know. So it'll be interesting to see him tomorrow. But yeah, I'm actually looking forward to this. And there's some games when it comes to the League Cup, I'm kind of going, but I'm really looking forward to this. I can't wait to sit down and watch it. In terms of shows, you've done a show today, Chris, which was pre-recorded. Yep. That's going to come out tomorrow morning. If you want to tell people what the show was about and who was on it with you.
Yeah, so I did a show with Philippa Smallwood and Emma Sanders from the BBC. We did a tribute show to former Liverpool women's manager Matt Beard, who sadly passed away yesterday, only 47. He's the most successful Liverpool women's manager. He had back-to-back league titles for Liverpool women, and he got Liverpool women back promoted. So the whole thing was a bit surreal, bit of a shock. Had elements of the loss of Jota, but in a different way, because I was very fortunate. I met him after games numerous times with my daughter. You know, you bump into in the pub after the game and all that. You just stand and have a chat
Yeah,
with him. He's a really, really lovely bloke, and you can tell by all of the stuff that's come out from other players, other clubs, how well loved and respected. And he was a pioneer of women's football, really. So it
yeah,
was a big, big loss. I have seen recently that Jackie Oakley, who's a journalist, has done a GoFundMe page for him, for his family,
yeah,
for covering the funeral and cost of living increase. I think the target was $5,000. I think it's up to 26 grand
yeah,
already.
yeah,
So I've shared it on my socials as well because it's yeah, it it was a hard show to do, but it's also nice to talk about the good times with him because he did
yeah,
bring a lot of good
and to
times.
mark the man as well.
Mm.
But that has been pre-recorded. Thanks to Chris and Philippa and Emma for doing that. On what was short notice, so that'll come out tomorrow. On our YouTube channel. Tomorrow night you're gonna have reaction to Liverpool against Southampton. We're trying to fit in a reaction extra on our Patreon from that game. And then we're into Wednesday, and I think we on Patreon we're going to be doing our referee show, Go Process, which is always good. And then we'll
I love
start
that
looking
show.
at, and then we'll start looking again towards the weekend. It just feels like we're doing preview, review, match, and it's just it's constant, like it's humble dryer. But we're working hard to just get the shows every single day of the week at this stage, and yeah, as always, packed week. So check us out on our YouTube. Thanks for being on our YouTube tonight. Like, subscribe, comment, and all that messing. And if you want to join our Patreon, which a lot of people have, and they seem to be enjoying it, the feedback's been really good. You can join for a month. The link is in the description. Pay for a month. If you don't like it, fine. Do away with it. We're not going to fall out with you. If you do like it, stick with it because we're enjoying doing it, and people that are watching are enjoying doing it, and it helps the channel massively to keep going and doing everything we're doing. So check that out. And of course, if you're up for a VPN, lads, NordVPN, get all your streaming and all your football and wherever you want in different countries with NordVPN, your virtual private network. It has all the security there if you're using local instead of using your local Wi-Fi and the pub Wi-Fi and everything. This is really good for that. And of course, listen, it covers all the family. It covers 10 devices. There's huge discounts on it at the minute. So the link for Nord is in the description as well. Thanks to Chris for joining me. Thanks to everyone in the chat. We'll all head off and we'll watch Liverpool against Southampton tomorrow, and then we'll be back with you. Talk to you in a bit. Over and out.